Audio Jungle.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us on the Black Woman Report with Angela Grayson. I am Angela Grayson and I'm honored to be sitting here today on my very first show. Tony Yarber over on the buffet, but today we're in our brand new spot every Thursday at 5 o'clock. This week we're at 4:30. Next week, join us right back here at 5 o'clock. Today I'm so excited to have my good sis, Quinn Hollins, joining me. And me and Quinn go back so far. We went to high school together. Quinn was Miss everything that Lanier could have. We are 833.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you, Quinn, for being here with us.
No problem. I'm glad to be here.
Now, look, I knew I wanted Quinn as one of my very first guests because Quinn and I have this kind of yin and yang relationship. We do not ever, almost hardly ever find ourselves on the same side of controversy. So this girl has been telling people for years, like, oh, I knew she was going to end up in politics. Oh, I knew she was going to end up talking. Yes. I knew she was going to end up doing this because she's been debating since we were in high school. And that's true. But Quinn and I have some things that we find that meet us in the middle. Right. And that's our love for community. That's our love for black people. That's our love for black girls and children. And Quinn has a long-standing relationship with being a community activist. And so I'm going to give Quinn an opportunity to talk about today why you found yourself in this way that you lean into children, and particularly young folks, like teenage folks, those folks who by the time they're teens, we're ready to take our hands off and start on our next group of young people. But Quinn really leans into what's going on in the teen world, the teen scene right here in Jackson. So thanks, Quinn, for being here. Tell us about this new foundation you got going on.
So, yeah, I did. I actually started in childcare with the younger group, but when I saw that we were having the issue was arising with our teens, and it kind of made me lean in a little more towards them because I was gung-ho 4-year-old. I know it. I'm going to stay with the little ones. But I started noticing a pattern with our teens, and I think it was more of a self-esteem issue, more of a I don't have as much as you issue. And so it kind of made me want to just grab everybody and, just bring it full circle and say, hey, we are all just alike. I don't care if you wear Jordans and I wear Walmart. We all just alike.
Look, I'm glad you said that because that really makes me think about something I know that I kind of teased in our promo for today's show is this ideal about teens and how entitled we are finding young people to be, even at my house. And I have to say, I'm trying my best and I'm doing the things that folks have been telling me to do with them. But the level of entitlement with these children, even when they, again, coming from homes where people have an eye on that sort of thing. So I can imagine if I'm hyper aware of those sort of things and I'm still dealing with teens who have entitlement issues, what it might be for teens who are coming out of homes who don't have that awareness, who are not thinking about it, who are not talking to their children about it. What do you think is this thing that's making kids these days just feel like things ought to be given to them? And I'm gonna tell you this, my kids expect a level of grandeur that I would have never just expected. I always expected to be taken care of, but my children expect to be taken care of well.
Do you want the truth?
Yeah.
Okay,
so
the truth.
On the very first episode of the Black Woman Report, we got to tell you this is not the news, right? So this isn't the news. We're going to take the news and then we're going to put the Black woman perspective on the news. So we're going to tell the truth at all times on the Black Woman Report.
Okay, so let's just be honest. We're the problem.
Okay, then.
It's not the children. It is not our children. It's us. Okay. You remember when we was little and our mama said no? And we said, when I have kids, I'm never going to tell my kids no. I'm going to give my baby everything. And that's what we're doing. And that's what we did. And now that we're older, we understand why we were told no.
And now it's too late, right?
It's too late. Well, it's not too late, but now we got a little pushback on the other side. So it's our fault.
Do you think that this ease that children have now, because kids now, they can get to stuff way easier than we could. So if I was told at 16 that I couldn't go, if I couldn't have, it was off the table. I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't know about it. My friends, if my mama was telling me or my grandma was telling me no to it, the girls I hung out with, their parents were probably telling them no to it too.
And this kind
but now if I tell my girls no,
somebody pick up the slack.
listen, they just hopping on
Call
Facebook.
somebody else. Yeah, and so that's kind of where the pushback is. We have a circle of people who take care of our children in the way that they know that we take care of our kids, even when we can't. Even when we need to say, no, we can't do that today. We have somebody that's going to come in and kind of grab the slack on us. Because let's just be honest, Angela. Growing up now, we are not on the same income level as we were when we were growing up, as our parents were. Our parents had to kind of like penny pinch and do what they could. And the thing
I'm penny pinching, Queen.
But no, you may think so, but we kind of where we need to be. We're a little more advanced than our parents
That's
were.
right.
We're afforded a little more opportunities. We have a lot more money on the table, and we have more means of making it. And it's easier for us to do things these days.
And so you believe that because now with this access to things, this access, this new income levels, these now we don't have to just stand by and watch on TV. People have a level of our lifestyles. We kind of have access to be in it. Yeah. So you think that's why our children are now walking around saying, when I saw that story of the baby who shot his mama because she didn't order that game, and then he still went on to order that game, I was devastated. And the first thing I thought is that was he is so this or that. I just thought about the fact that we as a society had failed that baby and had failed that family. Anytime a child has that much on them, now I know that in this particular case they are saying this baby had some other issues he was dealing with, but look how many kids will risk it all and go in that mama's purse and get a car.
Kids without those issues will do it. And that's simply because we make them feel like they have to stay with the Joneses. We know the Joneses is us now. The Joneses we're just regular old people.
And they maxing out credit cards and they borrowing and they, not
we
paying
didn't understand
mortgages.
how robbing Peter to pay Paul was really going on. So we allowed our children to become that same child, the child that they labeled as whatever he had, whatever condition he had. We have children who have no conditions who will probably do the same thing, if not more. Our kids just feel like things matter more than they don't have morals. We didn't raise our kids with morals right. A lot of us didn't. Some of the ones who thought we did, we still missed. Because I don't know.
It takes a whole village, and I think that's one thing that we've gotten away from. So many of us now will say, "Don't say anything to my child. I got it." I am somebody. I have to be honest. I like to lean into that village as much as possible because it does take a village. When we're trying to do this holistically, have whole, round children. Talk to us about what this foundation you formed, what you seek to do, the type of children you are seeking to help, and why it's so important to have that in our community.
Okay, so, when we were growing up, a lot of us around 12th, 11th grade, we started getting pregnant.
What some of us did.
It's coming back. It's coming back.
Okay.
I don't know if you noticed, it died down for a few years, and now it's back. A lot of the teens are getting pregnant again. But the difference between then and now is we've shut up. We don't talk. We don't share with our children safe sex measures. If you're gonna do it, be protected. We just don't say nothing. And a lot of what we try to shield our children from is happening because we watch. A lot of us watch and don't say nothing. I think parents, the village, all of us have to kind of lean into these children and open our mouth a little more. A lot of things have been taken out of the conversation because we're so treaded on thin lines now. You can't say too much. You can't say the wrong thing. You sued if you say this thing or that thing, if you offend somebody.
Okay.
So a lot of us have just shut up when we need to be talking.
Okay, so what you're seeking to do is bring girls into community, and not just girls,
not just
right?
girls, right? The boys need to know who they hang around. I talk to boys all the time about that. You know, a lot of times boys, my son, for example, a lot of times boys come from a background where they're not raised a certain way. They don't see certain things, but they go to school and it's an open world.
Mm-hmm.
There's a world out there, so everybody's in their world. You know, you may have them at home and they never get to see certain things. But when they get to go to school, they see every walk of life in their building. So I have to bring the boys back, not just mine, but all boys, and tell them, you know, you don't have to be like that. This is your lane. It's okay to stay in it and be cool. You don't have to be the drug dealer, the gangbanger, the shoot 'em up, bang bang, because that's what's going on out here. But our boys are so intimidated by the boys that are like that it becomes everybody's problem. Now it looks like all our boys are like that. But we still have really smart boys. We still have really well-raised boys. We still have parents that are in tune with their kids. But just because we feel like we're always with our children, we see them, we raise them in the church, they get to be in the programs, all of that good stuff, they go and be a whole nother person without us.
Look, and so, I hear that. So that's one of the things, you know, us seasoned mamas, we've been in this world. My baby is 16, my youngest is 15, excuse me. Then I know 18-year-olds. So we've been doing this a while, and I know that maybe 2006, maybe I would have said, "Oh, I know my child," but I would never say, "Oh, I know my child," would not. But I think that there are some things that we're doing, and one of the things I'll go ahead and say it. One of the things I preach to my girls is, look, when you get out here, I want you to be the influence. Won't you be a way so the people around you gravitate to how you are versus you get out here and be influenced by what other people say. So on the other side of our break that is coming up, we're going to talk to Quinn about this entrepreneurship camp that she has annually and why she thinks that's so important for our youth. And Quinn, one of the things that I want to thank you for is when I started the Black Women Vote Coalition, you were one of the very first organizations that was like, yes, you can come. So Quinn let me come over, talk to the women that were in her, to the parents at her daycare. She also gave me an opportunity to set up at all of her events. We did the back to school event. It was wonderful turnout. We got some young folks registered to vote that day, high school seniors, mamas in the community who needed to be registered to vote. And one of the things I'm always so impressed by you is that your willingness to dig into places and parts of our community that are sometimes left out of general pop, right? So what I mean is, we know we're going to have certain events in certain parts of town, but then we have to get to those places where if they can't make it to our giveaways, we go to where they are and give it to them, get to where the need is. And I've always appreciated that. We got a couple minutes before our first break. Before we do that, I want to impress upon you the need to share and ask people to join us here on the Black Women, I'm about to say the Black Women Vote Coalition, the Black Woman Report, every Thursday at 5 o'clock, 4:30 this week. If you are a business owner, a small business owner who would like to advertise your amazing products and our services, please contact me so we can get you plugged into this amazing platform. I am looking for a flagship sponsor, so that's going to be the people who help me make sure this show can come on every week. Also, we want to lift up all the things that Quinn has going on, and so when we get back, we'll give her an opportunity to talk about that, and then we're going to dig down into some stuff that's been going on locally, nationally, this week in Black women news.
All right. Yeah. You know, I'm 8-3. We always been the underdog,
and I want to talk about some underdog type situations this week. And we know we're closing out of election week. We weren't on last week to talk about election, so when we get back, we'll talk about Black women taking it on last week in local elections. I am so proud. I am so proud. That's why I wear those Elect Black Women t-shirts every week. Of course, I don't have one on today. And that's if I did have on a shirt that talked about black women this week in particular, I would like to have one that says listen and defend black women. We'll get more into that in just a few minutes. Thank y'all so much for joining us back on the other side of our first break on our very first episode of the Black Woman Report. I'm Angela Grayson, and I have my good friend Quinn Hollins who's sitting in with us today. So we've just been talking about what we believe is an issue that's plaguing our teens, and that's this sense of entitlement. And so Quinn has started these different programmings that she specifically focuses on teens so that we can help bring them away from there. One of the things that Quinn does is has an entrepreneurship camp. Quinn, talk to us just a little bit about why it's so important for that to be on the table, for that to be an option for our teens. Okay, so in our camp over the summers, we've done 2 so far. We had a great turnout both times, and our kids, specifically our boys, learned a lot of hands-on man skills, you know. Okay. So a lot of our boys are being raised up in single-parent homes, moms mostly in the home, dad come and go. So what's going on is our boys are not learning those small skills like checking the oil and knowing how to change a tire. I met grown men that couldn't help me change the tire. Look. So that was a problem for me. And that was like a light bulb. Hey, I can't raise no more children that don't know how to change the tire. So, I wanted to kind of bring the community in to help our boys who don't necessarily have parents, dads in the home. My sons don't have their dad in the home. It's a lot of stuff. I can raise a man, but I can't teach him everything he needs to know. That's right. So I wanted to kind of gather the men, and I had firemen come in and just the regular men that they see every day. They may not see in a professional fashion, but they still need to know that that's a man that I respect. So I had those type of men come in with the boys. And then for the girls, we had real women come in and show them, not just the FREE kind, but the other, I want them to see the professional women and the women who put their clothes on and put the pearls on and go do their thing out there and make their dollars that way, and there's nothing wrong with how other women get it, but I want them to know that you don't have to be that face. You can always be a pure face and just get it too. So we brought in different people teaching our kids the basics, we got to go back to the basics. Our kids are so far beyond us. Some of the things we don't even know that they learning because we know nothing about it. And we didn't have access to it, right? We didn't know it if people didn't introduce it to us. Now our kids can go get whatever interests them, they can go find it, They can go do it. And it's scary, but it's good for them, but it's scary for us because we don't know. And so I find myself sometimes trying to teach myself some of the things that they're learning now because, when we graduated, we finished college, we were done. I know that, and that's what I'm going to do. But it's so much more that we have to learn as parents, as people, as adults.
And that's where the disconnect is coming with our kids, because they're further advanced in this technical world than we are. So I kind of wanted to bring back full circle everything, because they're missing the basics. We're missing the technical part, and we kind of need to come in the middle and say, hey, I'm going to teach you this, because you're not going to be able to help your wife if you ever had one.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to be a great wife if you get a husband. So I need you to come here, because women have to be certain ways too. We can't just be out there in the streets making money. We got to come home, take care of the house. We got to do the basic stuff, right? We need to balance it out. All our kids learn now is how to get it. Got to make money, because that's what the competition is now. Who got the most? Who look the best? Who wear the most name brands? That type of stuff. But who teaching our kids how to cook?
Okay. And you know what? When we talk about that, I like how you introduced this and kind of said, hey, it's really not on our children, because but then you have to look at why were we so hyper focused on gotta get it, I gotta have this, I gotta obtain these levels of financial stability, in which we all believe that's true, right? But when we think about the history of black people in this country and how little we had, and like you said, the fact when we can even go back to 40 acres and a mule, right? And us not being able to have things like access to home ownership, and we don't have that generational wealth in our families the way that white people do, right? And so for generations, we work so hard to be able to obtain levels of financial stability, because for a long time black people did think once we can obtain this amount of wealth or this level of education, and then we'll be treated fairly. And now we've got those levels of education. We are homeowners, we are business owners, and we are still seeing you know what I'm saying? And we're still seeing that this is still America. We're still being treated the same ways. And so our children now have been ingrained, go to school, make a lot of money. And now the tides are turning even on that, because it's not even go to school, it's just make a lot of money.
It's make a lot of money. And make a lot of money is real. Like, you can't get by. Everything is so expensive. You have to make a lot of money, right? Listen, I was in the store and I was like, I don't remember paying $10 for an Airwick fit, the plug, the refill.
Listen,
I don't remember that.
Anytime you're paying $7 or $8 for a carton of eggs, it's real
changing.
Right?
Everything is changing on us, and it's hard to keep up with everything. You already a single parent. You're already trying to make sure they learn the moral values, the etiquette, the being a girl, being a man, all of that. Plus, now I got to teach you how to make money.
And not just make one. And you know, now we have to tell our kids you can't have one stream of income.
You can't have one.
Have a couple
you got to balance your credit. You got to know what credit is. How do you get credit? Like, all of that. And these are things that we learn at 30. You know?
But listen, I do know, and if y'all are struggling with that, make sure that you tune into the Black Woman Report, because that's the type of content you're going to find here on this channel. We're going to be bringing in credit experts. We're going to be bringing in my realtor friends who are black women doing amazing things in those industries, because those things are important, and we don't want our children waiting until they're 30 to get there. And so with this being the first episode of our show, I wanted to make sure that we kind of give you an idea of what you will get here every week. And so one of the things that I want to make sure that we do is keep our ears to the streets, what's going on locally and nationally, with the segment that I want to call the Side Eye of the Week. Okay, and so this week, for the side eye of the week, I kind of, I'm going to be honest, I struggled even up until a few minutes ago on who would get the side eye of the week, because a lot of y'all tripping, right?
Oh, girl, they
So Quinn and I, we were thinking through who's going to get this side eye of the week. And at first, we wanted to give it to any and everybody who had a disdain for our disdain on how Dion got out of here, right? So we don't care what you felt about Dion leaving. What we do care about is if you had issue or found issue with us feeling away. Right. Because a lot of people who wanted to say that we didn't have a right to those feelings don't have the love and adoration for this city or our school the way that we do.
Our kids, because those still are our kids. Those are our kids,
right?
Yeah.
And so when we have those folks like Charlamagne the God, all these national commentators
people that don't know,
who don't know, you don't know the way that we bought into the dream, and the way that he asked us to believe.
He did. He made
us to believe.
But I'm gonna say this, because I had my feelings about Dion, and I had my feelings about how he did it. I just want everybody to understand, we do not have a problem with black people elevating, because he did elevate.
We do. We don't
do not have a problem
that.
with black people elevating, because if it's my time and you offer me $5 million,
listen,
hey, I'm out. So
but
it was the timing.
Not at the cost
it was
of
the
the people who I leave, right?
It was the timing. It was, you had boys come over who transferred, who can't get back in that portal, who came for you and they're stuck here. You had boys who really believed, and it's nothing they can do now. They stuck, you know.
You know what?
You had us believe, and we thought you were gonna be here 4 years, and you ain't even stayed.
At minimum, right? And the other thing that I want to point out in this whole conversation is that why do we as Jacksonians keep finding ourselves in this place? Number one, Jackson, North Jackson State, we are not looking for saviors.
Do you want to open it up? I don't think we want to go there.
Why do we keep putting ourselves in the position to be so drastically disappointed in people? Like the answers, the problems that we have in Jackson, the answers that we are looking for, the solution is the knight in shining armor that we're looking for is not gonna ride in. They're gonna have to stand up from your homes right here in Jackson. Every answer that we need, I want to submit that it is already in Jackson, and that's one of our problems, is that we keep looking for some savior to ride in.
I think we want to be seen, and what Dion brought to the table is Mississippi and Jackson was seen.
Now, I can't argue with that.
The only way we're seen now on television, mainstream TV, is poor, slaves. We look like we still back here, like going at it, picking cotton.
I want to say that that's a very good observation. Even when we do the work over at the Black Women Vote Coalition, one of the things I found that is so empowering is just listening to Black women, giving folk a platform to say what it is they need to say, and not only just listening to them, validating how they feel and what they have to say is valuable. And Dion did do that for us. Right? He put us in different places and platforms to be seen. Now, some of us will argue that Jackson State is a historically black college that has been doing amazing things for years, but we know that, look.
But they never had that level. I'm sorry. Even BET didn't take Jackson State to that level of where everybody knows their name. We never had all these rappers sitting in the red chairs. They come and make us pay to see them. They paid to see us. And that's why we're hurt that Dion is leaving. We're happy that he can go. We're not mad at a black man for elevating. We're mad that we won a SWAC championship that hasn't been done in years prior to the Dion effect. Now, you took our moment. That's what it was. You didn't give our boys a chance to celebrate. You rushed them off the field. You gave them like a few seconds to shine and go. We needed to throw them pom-poms a little harder.
Look, we wanted our moment, right? Especially because I think we all were feeling that this was coming, that this would happen. Now, I'm going to be honest, I was hoping that he would stay through and fulfill his contractual obligation to Jackson State, because I do think that the city and not only the school benefited from that, but what I do know is that we are resilient people. Jackson State hadn't seen the last of our highest heights. We'll go on to do some great things, but one of the things that I found just deplorable in the way that he left is that he told all of America that you're going to have to treat HBCUs better, and then he did what he accused everything about doing.
He did. It looked as if, but I did go back, and I think if we watch everything, we didn't find that the boys were that hurt about it, because we only got a clip.
And we are ball players, right?
And
so our attachment to him and our attachment to this,
it was a thing from when we grew up. We've been watching this man since we were little, and now he here. And so that was like, for us, I think we misunderstood Dion, and Dion misunderstands us.
What we needed from him,
we needed him to do what he did for us for a little longer.
Look, I knew that would be a hot topic issue, and that's what we want to do here on the Black Woman Report. We know it's been in the news, but what do black women feel about that? One thing that I found interesting in this whole conversation, that in the midst of all of our Dion talks and all of these things that's going on with the football team, in which I think that was a rightful and timely conversation. We also have Jackson State women's basketball team, who also has been doing an amazing job, has a highly sought after coach. I'm just asking, what's going to be the response, or what would have been the response if that black woman had said, now I have opportunities to go PWI or Power 5. What would be the response to her? I would suggest
we got to get behind her. Different. Yeah, we got to get behind her a little better than we are, because she is doing amazing things at Jackson State with the girls, and she got a lot of our babies from Lanier.
She does.
But we gotta get behind her, because one of the things that I heard her cry about was that she's not getting the support she need, even for the physical part. For the girls, when they're hurt, nobody's there, because everybody was kind of gravitating towards everything, was gone towards Dion. So in that light, I think we can do a little better. It gives all of us a chance to kind of breathe and say, okay, maybe we weren't really going for Jackson State. Maybe we were on the Dion effect.
And I want to make sure that in every opportunity that we have, we put a lens on.
Right.
What are black women dealing with? There are black women, student athletes at Jackson State, who are just as deserving of the attention, of the resources, of the time and talent being poured into them as those young men who are on the gridiron, right? And so we want to make sure that we shore up some of those disparities that we find in how we treat our young men and how we treat black women specifically. And so that's one of the things we're going to continue to talk about. If nobody else is talking about it, we're going to talk about it here on the Black Women Report. That's right. Now, we are not experts, and nor do we speak for all black women, but black women are most definitely the experts on black women. And so that's what you'll find here every week on Thursday evenings. Thank y'all for joining us. Queen, you want to leave us with anything? How can we find you, and how can we support the amazing work you're doing?
We just had an awesome Christmas wrap up. All of my babies are adopted now.
Thank God.
Thank y'all for that. But you can find me at Quinn Hollins on Facebook. Anytime I need the community to lean in with my kids, that's where I put it at. So Quinn Hollins on Facebook. Just follow me there, and I promise you I got you something to do.
Look, Quinn has been, thank y'all. Quinn is being a little modest. So please find Quinn. We're going to link her ways that you can find her on the We Believe Digital Podcast thread for this show, because Quinn does an amazing give back to her community every Christmas. Even though she's had all the families be adopted, we want to lean into that and make sure that she can go over and beyond for those families. And we know that there's some resources out there. We want to make sure that we can get to the good sis. Thank you again for joining us.
I appreciate you.
Thank y'all for joining me for my very first episode. I look forward to bringing y'all real black woman realness. And more dope black women will sit up here on this panel with me in the weeks to come. Thank y'all.